Welcome back to ChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. And a video today from Ace Nate. High value man triggers American woman after he told them they are wife material. It's just the truth, ladies. Please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Women who criticize passport bros, right? They often claim that these types of men are broke, undesirable, and even dusty, I've heard. Personally, I believe this is a coping strategy.
Agreed.
I do. They dislike being rejected. They dislike being disqualified. So they just throw out these sort of blanket statements to help them cope with it, right? So a lot of times it kind of feels like male standards and preferences. Sometimes it feels borderline illegal to express these, certainly in today's day and age. So in this video here that I've got pulled up for you guys, this is a man who is not broke, is not undesirable, and here he is declaring that he is not going to be marrying an American woman. So let's check this out here.
There's about a 90% chance that when I decide to get married, it'll be with a girl that's not from America.
Damn.
Men are now more objectified than women. They're simply viewed for what they can provide and what they can do for others. So much so that what one man won't do, the next one will. And you're just a DM away from any yacht, plane, or car in the entire world like that, just because you're alive. Now, I'm not faulting women for this because it's fun. And honestly, like, you should just take advantage of it. I just don't want to be anything a part of it. And I'm just going to marry someone that's not from America. Reason being is, countries overseas have seemed to do a better job at preserving their culture and sticking to their core values.
Yep.
So much so that if you're looking for a long-term partner and someone that you're actually going to marry, be the mother of your kids, to me, it makes more strategic sense to marry someone that aligns with those same core values. So I'm just going to be friends with American girls unless you're unique. There's about a 90% chance.
So, I mean, look, he's so polite about it, right? He's so kind. And he almost comes off a little bit naive as to how angry this is going to make the American women. I think when he filmed this clip, he posted, he thought, that's reasonable, right? That's kind. I presented it in a kind way. I was very polite about it. I was just expressing what it is that I want. And honestly, clips like this, perhaps kind of talking to himself out loud, kind of just clarifying what he's doing, how he's going to be moving from here on out. But again, he couldn't have presented this in a more nice, kind way. And yet, right, the women are angry. So there's no surprises there. And yeah, I looked at this guy's page a bit, and he seems like a pretty successful guy. And I think when Western women see that the guys who are looking for quality wives are not actually broke bums like they so strongly believe, it ultimately upsets them when they come to the realization, oh my God, it's not broke, dusty men. It's actually the type of man that I would want. It's actually a successful guy who makes good money. Because let's be real, certainly these types of guys are going to realize what they deserve, right? And they're kind of eventually going to come to the realization that they can call the shots. They can decide what type of woman they want. And a gentleman like this has come to the point of realizing, you know what? It's probably not going to be an American woman because we don't share the same values. We don't share the same polarity when it comes to gender norms and things like this. So, yeah, it's like high quality men are realizing if they marry American women, they very well may be settling.
I mean, look at all these movie stars, track stars, sports stars, whatever. And look at all the people they marry. Look at all the people they're with. They're all American types. They're all movie star types. I think people now are starting to see this because everything's highlighted through social media. Yeah, why would they want that? If I worked hard to be successful, I'm not going to deal with an American woman that's going to treat me like Tom Brady type woman, like just how Americanized and how American values really, protrude. So passport bros, Cambodian values, Thai values, Filipinas. They're they're quite different. They're built differently. They're raised differently. Their mindset is different. 50-50 is not a thing over there. It's whatever we can both do to contribute to the best of the family. If she needs to work, she will work. If she doesn't, she doesn't. That's the greatest thing about, when both people's goal is growth of the family and the family's, getting to where it needs to be.
Now, here's the thing. Are there good ones out there? Yes. But like he said in this clip, they're unique. It's not the norm. The norm is like boss babe culture, right? And I will give the American women a break, which is something I don't usually do. But I will admit it is their environment that has shaped them. You can't avoid that, right? It's the culture. It's the propaganda. It's the movies, it's the magazines, it's the television, the TV shows, colleges, friends. All kind of creates this like snowball effect. And so they have been brought up believing that to be able to compete and hang with men is honorable and admirable. To be able to fit in with the men and to almost like out locker room talk the boys, to be able to hang out, and not only hang out but conquer and eventually rule over them, right? There's like this like fetishization of this idea of the girl boss being the woman in charge, even above the men. That has certainly been sold to these women to be the ultimate girl boss. So they have been brought up realizing that when they get the most praise, when they get the most applause, it is when they outperform men. The girl boss icon in the pantsuit that doesn't take shit, especially from men, boy, has that been sold to these women. It's been plastered in these women's faces, these girls' faces, since they were very young. So they indoctrinate women with masculinity, and they teach them that femininity is like, it's an outdated idea that has no place in today's working world. So let's read some of these comments here. So this comment says, as a Viet woman, I genuinely love cooking, caring for my man, and being submissive to him. I think being a soft and feminine woman will only make my man become even more masculine and want to provide for his family. Wow, what a smart woman. What a crazy concept that is. Seems like she's onto something, doesn't it?
Maybe.
It's just how us traditional Asian women are wired. I have a beautiful and successful family thanks to my traditional mother. I don't really see a lot of mothers like that in the U.S. And he responds, he says, see, have y'all seen one American girl say something this beautiful yet on this comment feed? He's got a point. He's got a point. This guy says American women are cooked, entitled, ego, low effort, passport bro kings are up. Now let's get into this one. Go to another country and see if they marry an American guy that wants to go 50-50. So she says go to another country and see if they want to marry a guy who goes 50-50. And he comments, I don't want to go 50-50. I can provide. I can provide. So, look, most of these women, on average, are either going to be single or end up with a man that splits bills. There's a very low chance of any of them getting a man who wholly provides for them.
What is it, 20%? And it's shrinking every day with inflation.
And I'm gonna be so honest. They don't deserve to be provided for.
No, they don't.
What is this guy gonna get in return? It's like their like natural instinct is to not behave like a woman. I'm speaking in a lot of generalizations here, sure. Okay, but I'm talking about majority, minority. Majority, minority. Even he mentioned it as well. I agree with him. They are unique. The wifey types in America. They certainly are not going to be in the big cities. They're likely to be more in the Midwest or the South. But even them, you have to be careful with. So what I was saying is, a lot of them don't deserve to be provided for, right? So because I mean, why, why should they? Why do they? Why do they deserve that? Let me get this straight. We're expected to be providers to women who see themselves as strong and independent. That doesn't make sense. My question is, why are they so repulsed by 50-50? Why are they so repulsed by splitting the bills? You are an American girl raised on girl boss culture. They have boss babed their way out of men's wallets, and now all of a sudden they want back in. Doesn't make sense. And this guy here in this clip, he didn't even mention anything about going 50-50, but they can't help but jump to that in their minds. They're trying to
Projecting.
delegitimize what he's saying by assuming he isn't that dream man that they all hope for, they all want. And what's ironic is that these types of women, the American women, are in the position to where they have the least bargaining power to command that from men. So these types of men who are their dream man, they're going to look at their options in America and they're going to go perhaps travel abroad, visit Asia, Eastern Europe, I don't know, South America, and they're gonna look around. They're gonna experience different women. They're gonna come to their own conclusions, and that these women are better at behaving like women. These men are gonna eventually realize, oh my God, I didn't know because I was raised in America.
I talked about this, right? You never know because you never experienced it. Without the internet nowadays, people wouldn't know what other countries are like or what, how life is in other places. With the internet, you can still see it, but you don't fully experience it until you go out there. This is why I tell you guys just travel. Just go to Asia for a few weeks, go to South America for a few weeks, go out, see the sights, meet people, experience the culture, and experience how they treat you as a man, how they treat you as a person. Yeah, maybe they are a little colorist, maybe they are a little racist towards you, but it still might feel more comfortable than you actually feel here in the United States. And that's a little crazy to say, but it's true.
But when I experience the true essence, the true femininity of a woman, when I experience gender polarity, it captures my love, right? This is what this first chick was saying. Very smart woman. I genuinely love cooking, caring for my man, and being submissive to him. I think being a soft and feminine woman will only make my man become even more masculine.
It's true.
So this is a smart woman here. She realizes being a soft and feminine woman pulls out a man's love. So a lot of these American women are kind of naive to that. They don't really understand how to make a man love them. Men understand that the way to get a woman to love them is to um, behave in a masculine, dominant way. And so, yeah, they make all these ridiculous demands from men in order to behave like a lady. Pay for this and I'll be nice to you. Pay for this and I'll be feminine. Pay for this and I'll be submissive. If we go 50-50, don't expect womanly treatment from me. It's all too much. And their whole thing is they're basically saying, sorry, inflation is too high. The workforce saturated with employees. Everybody gets paid less now. Things cost more. So therefore, you don't get to experience what it's like to be loved and cared for by a woman.
Isn't that crazy?
Ultimately, if we're splitting the bills, sorry, but you don't get to experience love. You don't get to experience a lady. You don't get to experience a feminine woman.
And again, only American women. It's mostly just American women that are like this, and maybe Australian women. I don't want to say Western women because other westernized countries like, the Swiss and, the more Norwegian type countries, they are 50-50. The women actually, are the ones that initiate a lot of things because how laws are set up to make everything equalize. So, well, that's what you wanted, ladies. You don't realize that other countries that are fully equalized, they go 50-50, and actually the women is the one that has to do most of the work and pay for the bills at least.
They literally they speak as if they have price tags on their foreheads. And personally, this is why I am optimizing by removing all the potential mates that think like this. I do not have time. I don't have time for your personal confusion about being independent and then wanting to depend, and then being masculine, and then also being feminine when it's purchased. It's all too much for me. Let me pull up this quick thing on Twitter. So I've got my Twitter pulled up here, and I think this is good to talk about. I think it's good to mention here. So I was tweeting up a storm yesterday. So I was saying the way American women view submission is that once you pay for everything, they turn a switch, and all of a sudden they're a whole new woman that you just purchased.
Yeah.
They'll do everything but admit being submissive to their man is not their natural go-to state. So my argument is that, do you think that once you stop going 50-50 and you start paying for everything, they're just magically going to enjoy submitting to you? It's not in their DNA. And so if anything, being a guy who tries to bribe them to get submission will have the opposite effect. It will actually make them less inclined to submit to you.
Agreed.
Because I don't think submission is purchased. And I say here, women initiate
I mean, submission can be purchased, but it's very temporary. When you purchase submission, you keep on having to pay. It's like a subscription fee.
divorce 70 to 90%. She is going to take your money and run when you try to bribe them with money to get their submission. I say the only way I will be a provider with a woman is if she shows me her instinct is to behave like a lady and get satisfaction out of pleasing her man. That, my friends, is what many American women are missing. Their instinct is to not behave like a lady, and their instinct is to not get satisfaction out of pleasing their man. They think to please their man, to, yes, in a way, submit to him and serve him, is oppression. And they need you to purchase
Slavery.
their submission. And I say, you're going to provide for a woman with feminist foundations. Really. And then last thing here, where I think I really was able to demonstrate my opinion on this. She says, if you want your wife to submit, then she shouldn't be paying half the bills. You don't get it both ways. So again, it goes back to, because inflation is so high, because women are in the workforce now, you are being punished as a man, and you don't get to experience what it's like to have a woman submit to you, which is like, what do these women even mean when they say submission? A lot of times,
It's again, it's crazy when these women compare women from the East and all these other countries saying that, oh, they don't do 50-50. What are you talking about? Those countries are poorer than our countries. You don't think everybody works and tries to like work in the family? You don't think the kids are even working too if they are able to work? Everybody works. Everybody contributes. What is just fantasy world that all of the, if only 20% of American ladies are able to live the single, the stay-at-home mother lifestyle, what makes you think poorer countries are able to do it so easily? Like all of them are living that lifestyle too?
I'm simply talking about what I just mentioned earlier. A woman's instinct is to behave like a lady and to get satisfaction out of pleasing her man. And yes, in a way, I would say that is submitting by doing things, serving her man because she knows it will make him happy. But I say here Nah, submission isn't purchased. Two things have to happen. One, she is naturally a soft, feminine woman, which is what most of these ladies are missing. And two, she feels that this man's masculinity and dominance is so admirable, she wants to commit to him. It is not purchased, and it is wild to suggest just generate more fiat currency. So that's basically what they're saying. Just make more money and I'll be submissive. And I'm saying, no, that's not correct. Submission is not purchased.
I mean, there's plenty of millionaire simps, a lot of simps that, never really dealt with women, that we told them to put their heads down and make money. And then when they made money, now they didn't really work on themselves in other aspects other than the making money aspect. They submit to their wives. We see a lot of boss wives out there that treat their husbands like shit, even though they're the breadwinners. It happens.
Two things have to happen. One, she is naturally a soft, feminine woman. Boom. Right there, you can cut out most of these chicks. Say you do start making a bunch of money, paying for everything. If she isn't naturally that way, you think she's just going to flip a switch and just overnight, I'm a soft, feminine woman. No, unfortunately, it's not how a lot of them were raised.
That's what they try to sell us, Oh, I'm in my soft girl era. I'm tired of working. I'm done. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to be a wife. Ready for what? What did you do? Other than you're tired of being a boss babe and you're tired of taking care of yourself.
And like this guy in the other clip was mentioning, our culture didn't preserve that. Our culture didn't teach that. And number two, and this is important, and this is honestly, I believe this is how you get submission. I do not believe you can purchase submission. I genuinely don't believe that. And I think that if you approach it with that idea of, I'll just purchase it, I'll just buy it, it's going to have the opposite effect. And she's going to be like, ew, it's icky. I don't actually perceive your masculinity and dominance to be admirable. I am not naturally a soft, feminine woman. So you trying to purchase my submission, A, is icky, and it's a turnoff. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and divorce your ass and take that money. So submission cannot be purchased. These, my friends, are the two things that must be met. She is naturally a soft, feminine woman. And two, she feels like this man's masculinity and dominance is so admirable, she wants to commit to him. She wants to commit to him. So there's this idea that women will get into relationships and then they'll stay with the man, but they won't submit to the man. And that doesn't really make sense to me, because it's like, why would you not just move on to the next man if you don't think this man is worthy? Right? It would just make sense
The
to
resources
just exit
make
the
sense
relationship. So that's why I said that she feels like this man's masculinity and dominance is so admirable, she wants to commit to him. Because a naturally soft, feminine woman is going to come across a man that, hey, maybe she doesn't feel like his masculinity and dominance is that admirable, so she won't commit to him. But it doesn't mean she's going to change who she is. That's the way she is. And she doesn't perceive that guy to be that admirable.
Shout outs to Nate. No, I 100% agree with him that it cannot be bought. Like I said, once you try to buy it, it becomes a subscription fee. You're paying every month. You're paying constantly. And once you stop paying, it's done with. It goes away. And even when you keep paying, you might not even get what you want, because you might not even use the services, or the services might not even work properly. Just, us paying for subscription fees or subscriptions that we don't even remember using anymore. The same stuff. Please extract down below. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next time.